How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a little bit of mystery beers, courtesy of my boy Jesse. Yeah, look at that. Just a little bit of a high-end shop towel, some electrical tape. Really kind of plugging at my heartstrings here when it comes to this beer. Yeah, Jesse's from I always forget where he's from. It's either he's going from Missouri to Nebraska or going from Nebraska to Missouri. I do not know. But what I do know is he sent me beers, and there was mystery beers involved. So let's dive into this sucker, see what he's got. I'll tell you what, based off of this being kind of an old school kind of looking bottle, and that it doesn't have, it's a bottle for one. That means it's an old school thing because it's just a bottle in general, but also not having any kind of tab or something like that on there. I kind of assumed it was going to be like a lager or pilsner. This does not look like a lager or pilsner. This looks like golden strong ale, barley wine, wheat wine kind of vibes. Looks super high ABV. There's not much of a head to it. It just has this kind of oily kind of viscosity to it. Just looking at it from a distance makes me think it's some high potent stuff. Love the labeling, as I said previously. Shop label, doing me all kinds of proud. And yeah, it looks like apple juice. It looks like Welch's Kids sugar-laden kind of apple juice. Let's see if we get a nose. What is that? That's weird. Ooh, what is that? I know exactly what that is, but I'm not going to be able to figure it out. There's some kind of... the way it comes off for me, and I've had this in beer before, and I don't know what it is. It's like charred. Almost briquette level green apple. I know that's a kind of a weird kind of flavor profile to shove out there. But it's got to be a barrel. No. Is it? I'm going to get more into this in the teeth, but it's got to be a spirit, and it's got to be kind of a harsher spirit. Is this like an Islay Scotch barrel? It might be somebody's Belgian strong ale. Triple. That's the vibe I'm getting. Not a huge kind of Belgian phenolic, but there's this fruitiness to it that I think comes from both a barrel and also from the beer itself. There's a sweetness to it, not overly sweet. And then there's this kind of this whiskey that is kind of burnt Band-Aidy plastic, and that's how Islay Scotch comes off me. I'm more of a Speyside guy, but that's kind of where I'm landing here. So for those out there, that kind of little bit of boggy, burnt kind of peaty kind of thing that you would get from an Islay Scotch. A little bit of soft kind of apple vibes floating throughout the whole thing. A little bit of sweetness. Not much to it. I don't know if I'm going to really like this beer or I'm going to really hate it. I'm going to find out. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's such a weird beer. You could tell me this is 3% alcohol, or you could tell me this is 15% alcohol, and I'd be like, sure, that works for me. It's got to be high in ABV, but it's weird because I believe I'm getting a little bit of heat, a little bit of stinging from the spirit portion, but I'm not getting any kind of hefty ABV vibes, at least, from the beer itself. That's a weird beer. To classify it's going to be really even hard. It could... It's almost like it's a Lagavulin barrel aged pilsner. That's kind of what I want to call it, but then I want to call it a Belvine barrel aged Belgian triple. But then I want to call it one more sip. I think I'm going a different direction now. I think I know what this is, and I'm 1 billion% off. So when I smelt this, or when I looked at this, I was like, okay, that's a big beer. When I drank it, everything about it told me there was this kind of heft to it, but I also thought it was a tiny beer. But there was the nose had this kind of weird, charry kind of burnt plasticky thing going on. So I'm like, it has to be barrel aged, and no one's going to do a Scotch barrel aged beer in a small beer, so it has to be a bigger beer. And even on the taste, I kind of think I talked myself into that. But you know what I think this is now? And it's totally not that. I think this is like a habanero lager. I know that sounds like miles away from where I started off at, but I'm trying to kind of put a little bit more kind of step back thought into these. And more often than not in these mystery beers, the best thing you could possibly do is go with your initial instinct. And we're going to see if that rings true here. Because more often than not, when I try to overthink myself, I'm wrong. I think in this case, a little bit of overthinking is a good thing. So that heat, that pop, I believed to be a bit of a weird kind of peat mossy kind of Scotch barrel thing is really just, again, that's the overthinking part, I think. In that it's just a little bit of heat from a pepper. Like a little bit of a habanero kind of heat from a pepper in a relatively small beer. I believe the head isn't there because of the oils. Maybe it wasn't fully, all those oils weren't completely taken out of that pepper. And that kind of just killed the head on it. You know, if you ever have a beer, if you ever rub your face and put your finger in it, the head goes away. There you go. So, yeah, I've never gone this far in one direction on a beer. I started off with a Scotch barrel aged, Islay Scotch barrel aged Belgian triple wheat wine, and I am ending my guess on this beer as a habanero or habanero as pepper based lager. That's about as far end of the spectrum as you can get as beers go, which makes this probably the funnest mystery beer I've ever done. So thank you very much, Jesse. This is super cool. I hate this beer and I love it at the same time. Let's put it that way. That's gotta be. So what is this? This is a 5.1, because no, that's a weird number. I just want to make it weird. 5.1% habanero lager. You could talk me into being like a Mexican, like a taco lager. Even like, because I could definitely see there, okay, a little bit of lime juice maybe in there. So get a little bit of kind of sweet citrus in there. It could be a little bit of lime juice. So let's just go full bore. Let's guess the shit out of this one. A 5.1% habanero lager with lime juice. How wrong am I going to be in this motherfucker? This is really fun. Thank you very much, Jesse. This is such a fun mystery beer. Oh, I went in so many different directions on this one. And we have Devil's Gap Habanero Ale. So at least I don't look like that big of an asshole. Let's see. It's our award-winning jalapeno ale. Gives you an intense jalapeno flavor with a slightly heated finish. And aroma. The perfection is balanced beer. Will please both heat seekers and flavor chasers. And no lime in this. And it comes in at 5.2%. So I was 0.1% off on it. Man, that was a ride. That was an absolute 1,000% fucking ride. I don't even know what to say. I'm equally as appalled at my initial thoughts about this beer and what it possibly could be. And then to walk it back, because I'm not used to doing that. I'm very much kind of stick to your guns, because you're probably going to be wrong if you overthink it too much. To walk myself back into something where I think, in the grand scheme of things, is relatively obvious. You're talking about, I mean, they called it an ale, not a lager, so it's more kind of a Kolsch kind of thing than a lager. I'm okay with that shit, because it came out from crisp and clean. You got that little bit of heat from that jalapeno. But to actually talk myself into that kind of Scotch barrel thing, be able to walk myself back, I believe is a little bit of personal growth on my part. So I'm going to pat myself in the back for that one. So take that for what it's worth. You guys think if I'm right or wrong or indifferent on this one, but I'm okay with everything I said about halfway through that whole review. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better pepper-based beers I've had as of late. It's okay. It doesn't blow me away. It's fine. It's trying to be a base ale with habanero. And I really do enjoy how that habanero comes off, because it's not ultra aggressive. If it was that aggressive and it really did sting me, I think I would have got it right off the get. But it's each subsequent sip, while that heat began to build, that's where that kind of indecision came in and ended up kind of helping me kind of walk back that previous decision and go in a completely different direction. And I think that's a fun thing. I think that's a cool thing when you have that graduating heat in such a clean and such a simple beer. To let the habanero do the talking without getting too hot and too overly aggressive is a really cool trick to pull off. So kudos to these guys for doing that. Let's see. Value and availability, no idea. Jesse, let us know what's what when it comes to these guys. Devil's Gap, never heard of them. Oh, Kincaid Brewing. I think I've heard of those guys. And, yeah. If you like what, will you like this? If you like habanero on beer. I mean, it's really what it is. I whiffed on the lime thing. It's more placebo effect for me, more than anything else, because when I think of habanero, I think of, Southern food, Mexican food, things like that, and I think of lime all the time. It's probably just kind of going in there. But if you gave me some nice kind of citrus-based tacos, gave me this, I think I'd be in heaven. So if you like that kind of food pairing, or if you just like habaneros in general, this will do you proper. So there you go. Awesome, fun mystery beer in the books. Thank you very much, Jesse. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. If you like mystery beers, you can always send some my way. You're more than welcome to reach out, Matt@massivebeers.com or massivebeers@gmail.com. Either way, it'll get to me. Valued availability. You already did that. So there you go. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out on social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully, you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully, enjoying a little jalapeno beer right now. And hopefully, see you next time. Cheers.